Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. Anyway, I don't remember where we left off at. Should have checked. But we was talking, alhamdulillah, wassalamu rasulillah kareem. This is a second part of our video talking about spending time in Itikaf. And we were just talking a little bit about the signs of Laylatul Qadr and seeking for Laylatul Qadr. One of the other things I really wanted to talk about for brothers who plan to spend some time in Itikaf, whether it's this year or any other years in the future that somebody watches this or gets some benefit from this about spending time in a masjid, you have those that will tell you that Itikaf, where can you spend Itikaf? Okay, not every place and not every people who want to do Itikaf in every place that's called a masjid or musalla can you or should you do Itikaf. Itikaf, you'll have some that will tell you that Itikaf can only be done in 3 masjids. Okay, there are those who hold that particular view, though it is not as strong of a view as some will try to make you believe. That Itikaf can only be done in 3 masjids, meaning the 3 most holiest places in Islam, meaning Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, the Kaaba, and the Prophet's masjid in Medina, and Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. They say, well, Itikaf is only supposed to be done in those 3 places. Not so. Okay. And what's my evidence, my delil? People a lot of times they use certain things as proof, and then they neglect it and they forget about others. And that is to say that the Prophet ﷺ talked about the majority of the scholars, not the common people, but the majority of the scholars not agreeing on something and it be wrong. Okay, and there has, for the most part, for the last over 1,000 years, from the time of the companions, from the tabi'in and the tabi'in, okay, that went to other places and other countries and made Itikaf. Okay. When the tabi'in and the tabi'in, who were the next 2 generations after the Sahaba, which were all part of that first 3 generations that the Prophet ﷺ basically put a stamp of approval on, as Islam spread and began to establish Islam in those other countries, and they established masjids, they also practiced Itikaf in those masjids. Okay. So from that time until now, it was always done in other masjids. The masjid should be a masjid. It should be, which we have in most places. You have the general masjid in the neighborhood, and then you have what's called the Jami masjid, which is the large masjid in a particular city. Okay, in countries where Islam is, predominant, and there's masjids and Muslims everywhere. You have small, little local masjids where people go and make their normal 5 times salat, like the closest little masjid to my house or whatever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times in those little masjids, Jumu'ah is not held in those little masjids. It's just a masjid for making the 5 times daily salat. In that particular locality, the Jami masjid, the larger masjid, is the masjid where Jumu'ah salat is also held with most of the people. Instead of going to this tiny little masjid and this tiny little masjid, everybody go to the big masjid, to make Jumu'ah salat. They say that the Itikaf should be in a masjid where there should be in a Jami masjid. Should be in a masjid where there's 5 times daily salat and also salatul Jumu'ah. If you happen to go and stay in a masjid, which you can, some say that you can stay in a masjid where Jumu'ah is not made, if there's a need for you to do so, and then of course on Jumu'ah go to the Jami masjid, where Jumu'ah is being held. But it's better to stay in the masjid where all the activities are taking place that you need to, do, and stay in the Jami Masjid where there's a Juma. I started to go to the other place in Randallstown. I felt it might have been a little bit better, and I thought that we might have been able to get a little bit benefit because of some of the couple of people I know who come through there who have a little bit of knowledge and like to read and do some studies and do some activities. But that place was not a masjid. It's not even owned by the Muslims. The masjid also has to be owned by the Muslims. The masjid cannot be a house, a storefront that's being rented, some other place or whatever. A musalla can be that. It's no problem. To establish a lot in a place like that. Okay, and then people might give it a name of a masjid, but it's not really a masjid. If the Muslims don't own it, then it ain't really a masjid. Because a masjid, once it is a masjid, it can't be anything else. It can't, well, you say, well, we're going to do something else, we're taking this, we're going to make this, something else, and we're going to get that over there, the real, masjid or whatever. Masjid is a masjid. It's not supposed to change to be anything else other than a masjid. So, Itikaf should be in, a Jami masjid, in a place where we can stay other than that. And there's a lot of rewards for staying in a masjid for Itikaf. As we mentioned before in the previous video, the Prophet ﷺ never used to leave making Itikaf. He used to do it every year, even after Allah gave him guidance for Islam, and he used to make it every year. And the one year that he was not able to do it, he did it 20 days the following year. When he missed it one year, then the following year he did 20 days, so he made it up. Let's read a couple hadiths here. There's a couple hadiths mentioning about Itikaf as once Abdullah bin Abbas, radiallahu anhu, who's one of the famous companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while standing beside the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, made the following statement: I have heard the inmate of this holy grave not so long ago, I was talking about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, whoever performs Itikaf of one day for the sake of Allah, Allah will create between him and the fire of Jahannam 3 trenches, each of which will be greater than the distance between the east and the west. This is found in Imam Bayhaqi's kitab. Imam Bayhaqi is one of the great scholars of the past who collected many hadiths of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What else you wanted to mention about? A person who makes Itikaf is called a mutakif. Mutakif. The one who does it. You said it. Okay. When we stay in the masjid, we have to remember that it is the house of Allah, and it's masjid. We should make sure we maintain the etiquettes of sleeping and so forth as we do in the masjid. They say we should not stay in the masjid, eat and sleep in the masjid unless we make the niyat, the intention of Itikaf. Even at other times, we should make that intention, even if it's just for a short time that we're in the masjid. Because the masjid is not a hotel, not a place to go sit around and just chill out and eat and drink and so forth. Really, food should not be in the masjid. Why food should not be in the masjid? Because you don't want people, other than one, it's not Ramadan. Somebody might be fasting that day. Somebody might be hungry. The smell of food and so forth should not be there, because when you are praying and so forth, your mind should be there on the prayer, not smelling food and having other people don't have any, thought or consideration. They come from the store, especially like downtown. People come from the store, they got a bag full of chicken and this, that, and the other, or whatever, and they're sitting around the corner of the masjid, you know what I'm saying, eating, feeding themselves. Muslims should not eat just feeding himself. When other people around, you're supposed to, I know what's happening. Well, come eat. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you ain't supposed to be eating in front of people. And somebody, maybe fasting and others. And, the smell of food and stuff like that should be away from being the smells in the masjid. So, people should be mindful of that. We have to be careful being in the masjid when we sleep. We should sleep with something underneath us. We should not sleep just right on the carpet, on the floor of the masjid itself, because no man has control over himself, when he's sleeping. You can have a wet dream. Like I just did when I woke up. I'm still a young man, thank you very much. At any time you can, have a wet dream and don't want to, soil the masjid, so you should always try to sleep with something underneath you, some sheet or blanket or something like that, rather than just sleeping straight on the masjid floor. And we should be mindful of not pointing the bottom of our feet towards the Qibla. No, there's not a solid hadith, but there's certain etiquettes that, are customary, and there are etiquettes that we should be mindful of, and that also that the Prophet ﷺ and the other companions that they also used to be mindful of, and that is, the bottom of our feet facing towards the Qibla. The Prophet ﷺ used to teach when we slept, and not just in the mosque, when we're at home as well, we should try to sleep with our heads going towards the Qibla, the direction of prayer, or laying on our right side so that our face is facing towards the Qibla. And we only go outside the mosque if we really need to. Sometimes the place where you got to take a shower or ghusl might not be in the mosque, so you got to go out. Sometimes you have to go out for taking your food, because where you eat and sleep and pray in the mosque might be at another place. Just like most of the time at Masjid Haq. You know what I mean? The mosque is upstairs, the cafeteria is downstairs. They prefer you to eat downstairs, so if you make an itikaf there, you might wind up going downstairs. But also, as you see, I usually put a tent up in the masjid, which the Prophet ﷺ used to put his tent up when he would stay in the masjid itikaf. So you can have some level of privacy in times of sleeping, because you might be sleeping and other people are awake. Because you try to stay awake at night and do different acts of worship and ibadah and so forth, and during the course of the day you may be, sleeping certain parts of the day instead of just laying around, sleeping all over, and you might sleep in a kind of way. You might be a person that twists and turns, and your clothes, your body become exposed, this and that and the other, and all that kind of stuff. So it's better to have that level of privacy, and also you'll find a lot with people. Why, like again, I was trying to choose a good place to spend itikaf, is because people sit around and talk about nothing. They think they're talking about Islam, and they're talking about me, but they be really running it on and talking about nothing. And, me, I'm a social person. I like to talk, and I like to be with the brothers and chill and kick it like that, you know what I'm saying? And I had to learn and train myself not to get sucked into all of the conversations about nothing. You know what I mean? Instead of spending that time gaining nearness to Allah. Checking the time? Yeah, thank you very much. And that's what you do. Instead of reading Quran, making dhikr, doing the other things, getting the maximum amount of reward, we get caught up spending a whole lot of time talking about next to nothing. People sitting around laughing and joking and killing and, chilling like it's, just a good old hangout, camp barbecue. You know what I mean? And not realizing that they are blowing their time, wasting their time. This is the time for getting nearness to Allah. This is the time getting reward that you can't get at any other time. This is the time for making salah and praying together and reading Quran together. It's like pulling, a dinosaur's tooth, man. They try to get people to sit together and read Quran around here. It's amazing to me, to try to get people to sit together and read Quran. It's something that we should be mindful of. So anyway, you brothers have any other comments, questions, thoughts, whatever about Itikaf or anything during that part? Can finish off this last little part of this video?
No, Uncle. Not at all.
Come on, ain't got nothing to say? Ain't got nothing?
Nope, you understand it all.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So what's your intention for your Itikaf? That's the other thing also, that you should try to make some plan. Make some goal. Actually, I had made these nice little sheets, which I didn't